expenses of buildings. Public utilities will be run throughout the site and offer potential hookup upon development for the property to the west. And there was a written commitment from the 2015 primary plat that states the following. Provide a written commitment when and if the town takes over State Road 267 to fund 100% of the installation of a traffic signal at the intersection of 267 and a Perry Boulevard extension across the property. I believe this should still stand. Staff recommends that the Plan Commission approve the primary plat and replat for the Whitestown Business Park.
Thank you. Anyone in the audience want to speak on behalf of this issue? None? Any questions, comments from the commission?
Any issues with staying with the original commitment? Any issues with staying with the original commitments that were made? The original commitments that staff pointed out, any problems with maintaining those?
I don't believe so. I mean, a lot of those negotiations were done when we came through originally, and the only real significant change, as I said, is the location of the road as it goes through the site.
And is that something, Lauren, John, that we need to include kind of in the motion to ensure that it gets back into the document this time?
Okay. Yes.
So, okay, that would certainly be my recommendation. But other than that, I have no other questions.
Is the intent to relocate, I'm assuming that's a legal drain that runs through, is that going to be relocated along the south property line to free up more of that property? Or is south of the road, if I'm looking at that correctly, is that mostly, I'm just curious from an engineering perspective, if there's there an intention, is that along the south side of the road? Is that a legal drain that runs through the property?
But here's
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, that's it.
the new road location.
Okay.
I think it's in this one, actually. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And, or sorry, go ahead.
No, go on.
Question, in the future, if these lots are all sold to different entities, how's that cost sharing? Is that going to be in some kind of a memorandum of understanding that there's going to be some kind of a cost sharing on a signal if that ever happens? I mean, that's a detailed question, but just making sure who pays for that signal if these all go to different entities.
We will figure that out.
I'm assuming you're referring to the commitment of the.
Yeah, you're
Right.
correct, yeah.
Thank you.
That's a good question.
And does that need to be included in the commitment before it's voted on?
I mean, it would be part of the memorandum of understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Any other questions? Hearing none. Are there any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve docket PC 16-028.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right, moving on to our last item of new business. Looks like you get to stay there a little longer. Docket PC 16-029-CP Whitestown Business Park Building 1 Concept Plan. Floor is yours.
Okay. This will be the first concept plan for the Whitestown Business Park in its new configuration. We're proposing an approximately 440,000 square foot building that has the potential to expand out to about 825,000. The Perry Boulevard extension that we were just speaking about, it will be extended to the west end of this site, as you can see on the right side of the screen there. As a part of this, we'll be installing the lift station that's located very near the temporary cul-de-sac. This will be sized to service not only this site, but also the site to the west, which the gravity line could then be extended to the west property line as this development continues, and then as needed, as development takes off to the west. The water line will also be extended to just beyond the lift station with this section, and then to the west property line as this development continues. All 3 drive approaches are proposed to be installed with this first building. Those will all be updated to meet NDOT's current standards. In January of last year, we got the okay from NDOT. They were happy with what we were proposing. Traffic study's already been completed. So we'll be pursuing the NDOT permit then to go ahead and install those, as well as the turning lane, passing blisters, whatever's necessary. In the site plan, you'll see we're proposing 3 ponds to control runoff from this first phase, as well as the remainder of the south end of the development. The pond all the way to the west will also accept water from the north side. And as we've talked before, we'll be adding compensatory storage and wetland mitigation on the south side of the creek. That's already been permitted and approved. That will be part of the construction of this part of it. Again, be happy to answer any questions or concerns you may have.
Staff report?
Staff recommends that the Plan Commission allow the petitioner proceed with the development plan submittal.
Any public request to speak on behalf of this? Any questions, comments from the commission? I have none as well. Are there any motions?
I'll make a motion to approve docket PC 16 029 CP Whitestown Business Park Building 1 concept plan.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So that is the end of our new business section. Is there any other business that has not been included on the?
I'll just mention one thing that's come up a couple times recently, including the discussion tonight on our public notice
Okay.
rule. It now reads, for the purpose of written notice by certificate of mailing, interested parties shall be defined as property owners within 600 feet and at least 2 parcels deep in all directions from the property that is the subject of the petition. We changed that a couple of years ago, and certainly we've had some change in membership of the commission since then, but it used to say 600 feet or 2 parcels, whichever is least. So now we have a more comprehensive requirement, but we can bring that back to you next month to see if you want to suggest any adjustments to that, and Lauren and I can look at it in terms of what other communities are requiring.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be one thing I'd be interested in is what some of our neighboring communities and what their ordinances read, because,
Okay.
I mean, in this case, obviously 600 feet, in my opinion, didn't quite do the job, so to speak, of getting enough people notified, but
We'll bring that back to you next month.
that may just be the standard, so.
We'll just look at it and see whether maybe you want to make some further adjustments to that requirement.
Mr. Chairman, also would be good to note that we just completed a year-long comprehensive plan update that where meetings were held every single month, as well as 4 public notice workshops where all of this was laid out in detail, and any recommended changes that were made at that time found its way into the comp plan. And so it's not a small undertaking that we've had. It's been an extremely long process to get us to where we are.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wonderful. Hearing any announcements? I don't believe so. All right. It is 7:17, and we will go ahead and adjourn.
So
Thank you.
I don't think we do we make a motion.